Hello everyone and welcome back to another Gloo tutorial. In this video I'm going to walk you through the WooGloo modules. Now let's get into it. So to get started with WooGloo modules, first of all you need to jump into the Gloo plugin and enable WooGloo modules. Once enabled, we have this settings option. So now we're in the WooGloo settings. In this video we're going to look over the following. We have the WooCommerce Advanced Dynamic Tags. This allows us to fetch information, products by backorder status, catalog visibility, virtual status, downloadable status, attribute value, product galleries, and thank you page order details. We also have a Price Plus widget. Now this gives us additional control over how the price is displayed versus the standard WooCommerce way, giving you the flexibility and control that you want. We then have the Related Products Dynamic Tag. This allows us to display related, upsells, cross-sells, and bestseller products wherever you want. And then moving on to the Woo Product Discount widget. Now this is a great little widget that will allow us to fetch back the value of the discounted percentages and display this on your custom product listing. And then finally, we have the Cart Values Dynamic Tag. This is going to allow us to fetch information that is stored within the cart and display that wherever you want to. So what are we waiting for? Let's get into it. So the first example that we're going to look at is this products page that we've already created, and it's got some really cool features such as this hover effect on the product images. So the secondary image is actually part of the gallery. So we'll show you one of the tags that allows you to do that. And then we're going to use the dynamic price discount widget to display this information in the top right corner of the listing. And then of course we're going to show you how to control what this price looks like using our Price Plus widget. And then what we're going to do is display some information based on the value of the cart. So for instance, if you have free delivery on your website, we'll be able to create a little section that shows how much is in the cart to how much they need to qualify for that discount. So it really just elevates your website with the data that we're able to fetch. So let's jump into our template, and the first things that we're going to look at are the WooCommerce Advanced Dynamic Tags. So if we take a look at our listing grid template, what we're going to do is create two images. One is going to be the flip box and the other is going to be a static image. And then we're going to use Jet Engine Dynamic Visibility to show the correct image based on if there is any other images within the gallery. And then what we're going to do is take a look at the price widget and then finally the Woo Product Discount widget. So let's go ahead and start building this listing template out. So the first widget that we want to take a look at is the Elementor Flip Box. And what we're going to do is just remove some of this static information and just display the image. The background image is going to be a featured image. So if we go and take a look at a dynamic tag and set the featured image, and if we just control what this looks like, and then what we're going to do is use one of the images from the gallery to be the reverse, so the flip effect. Let's take a look at the settings. Let's change this to fade. Then if we go to the back, again, let's remove this information that we don't need. And then the background image is going to be the classic image, dynamic tag, and then we're going to take a look at product gallery. What this allows us to do is select an array index. So what the array index is, it just allows us to cherry pick the image that we want from the products gallery. So an array will always start with 0, which will be the first image. So as you can see, the first image appears. And then if we select 1, or 2, as you can see, it's selecting the correct images. So let's tidy this up and take a look at what this looks like on the front end. So if we hover over the product image, as you can see, it's showing the featured image and then it fades into the product gallery. Now if we hover over one of the other images, you'll notice that it's just showing a blue box. The reason for this is because there are no gallery images for this particular product. So let's go ahead and look at how we address that and how we can work with Jet Engine's dynamic visibility to make sure that it shows the correct image in the correct instance. So let's jump back to our template and take a look. So for the products that don't have any additional images within the product gallery, we're going to use a image widget, and then all we're going to simply do is select the dynamic tag and set the featured image. But the magic happens next when we set the dynamic visibility, which will then show either the flip box or the featured image. So let's go ahead and jump over to the Advanced tab and Dynamic Visibility. And on the featured image, so the static single image, we're going to enable dynamic visibility and what we're going to do is hide element if condition is not met. Now what we're going to do is check if a gallery exists, and then the field that we're going to use is our product gallery, and what we're going to select here for the output format is a delimiter, and then what it's going to do is just essentially check within the array if any of these product gallery images exist, and we're going to do this by ID, and the delimiter is going to be a comma. So this featured image is actually going to hide when there is no additional images within the gallery, and of course we want to do the reverse on the flip box. So let's jump in and do that now. So again, if we go to Advanced, Dynamic Visibility, Enable On, and what we're going to do is check if exists, and we're again going to use our dynamic tag of the product gallery, and again we're going to output format the delimiter, return value ID, and the delimiter is going to be a comma. So let's update this now. If we jump back to our page and see what this looks like. So as you can see, when we hover over these images, they're still doing the fade effect on the images with the gallery. However, as you can see, there are images that only have one single image, and of course the fade effect isn't there. So in the next part, we're going to look at the Woo product discount widget and also the cart values dynamic tag. So let's jump back in and take a look. So we're going to take a look at two of the widgets that we've gone ahead and created, giving you so much more control over how you want the listing to display. So the first one we're going to look at is the Woo product discount. So let's go ahead and search for the discount widget, and what we're going to do is just place this at the top of the section, and we're going to output this as almost like a little label sitting in the top right corner showing the discount amount on the products. So let's jump into the Advanced tab, and if we first of all set the position to width inline and the position absolute, and what we're going to do is pop it in the top right hand corner. Let's just put some Z index on here just to make sure that it sits above all of the images, and let's go ahead and do some basic styling. So if we put some padding on there, let's give this a background color. Let's use one of our global colors and just ensure that the text is set to white, and if we place some weight on this, go ahead and update. Let's check this out on the front end, see what this looks like. Excellent, so it's put it in the position where we wanted in the top right corner of our listing. So what we're going to do now is take a look at the price widget and show you how this works. Take a look at our price plus widget. So if we go ahead and search for this, we've got a new widget called price. If we drag that into view, so what this widget allows us to do is display exactly what we want on the product listing. So we have an option here for default variation price, and we can either do default, highest price and discount price, and lowest price and discount price. And of course this applies to the variation products where there is potentially a price range between the different attributes. So let's leave ours for default for now. And then we have some further options, which are the toggle regular and sale price, use for archive loop, and display for both prices. So as you can see, you've got a lot more control over what you want to see and where. So if we jump into the style options, we have all the usual style options for price, and of course for the sale price, so you can really make the sales price kind of pop where you want it to. So let's hit center on this. So let's go ahead and leave the regular price styling options. So let's take a look and see what it does when we change the style of the sale price. So let's go ahead and use our accent color, and we're going to make the font slightly larger on this and slightly heavier. Then when we take a look at this in the front end, so there you go, you can see that the sale price is actually a lot bigger than the regular price. So what we're going to explore next is tapping into the type of product, and then we're going to take a look at the cart values dynamic tag and then the related products dynamic tag. So let's jump back in and take a look at this. So I've gone ahead and created a very simple template for the single page product view, and what we're going to do is show you how we can use a listing grid with our Woo related products tag. So let's go ahead and take a look at this now. So what we can do is use the listing grid widget as before. If we place that into view, let's change this to 3 and then select 3. Then what we're going to do here is use the post query. We're going to add a parameter of post and author parameters, and in the include post by IDs, we're going to use a dynamic tag, and the dynamic tag we're going to use is the Woo related products tag. And what this allows us to do is select either product type from related products, upsell products, cross-sell products, and bestseller products. So let's take a look at related products for the time being. And if we leave this output format to be delimiter, return value ID, and the delimiter is going to be a comma, and we can limit the results if we want to, enable 0, and relative to the current category. So let's go ahead and update this page. And of course we need to select the listing, so let's find our listing that we've been using, and let's go ahead and update the page. So if we scroll down, you'll be able to see that we've got the related products here. And of course you can do that, as mentioned, with various other options. We can get related products, upsell products, cross-sell products, and bestseller products. So you can basically cherry pick the type of products that you want to see and where. So another really cool feature that we've added is the ability to fetch back data from the attributes. So if we take a look with a simple example, if we place a heading widget into view and take a look at the dynamic tags, so we have the product attributes value. And what this allows us to do is fetch back so any of the available attributes. So as you can see, we've got color and size. If we return the values back as a UL structure, as you can see, it's fetching back all of the colors that are associated to this particular product. Now if we duplicate this and take a look at the size, the same thing happens. So this would be handy if you wanted to perhaps have your own table instead of using the generated one, so you can put all of the information in there. The same thing can be applied to the listing as well. So if we wanted to actually show this on the listing, we can place our product attribute value on the listing. And of course, if we just change this to a delimiter, and we put the delimiter as a comma and just hit update. Now if we go ahead and take a look at this on the single page and then also on the listing itself, so as you can see, it's outputting all of the attributes. The same thing is happening here as well. So again, the point here is that you can really play with the data that you have and then just display as much information about the product as you want or need to. So another really cool feature that we added into the WooGloo extension is the ability to fetch information about products based on their status, so like a virtual product for instance. So let's go ahead and look at how we can query against that and then return back in our listing grid only products that are virtual. We can also fetch back that information to display it on the listing as well. So let's go ahead and do that now. So if we select the listing, and if we go down to post query and select post and author parameters, and what we want to do is include posts by IDs. So if we select dynamic tags and scroll down, as you can see, we have products by backorder status, downloadable status, virtual status, and catalog visibility. So if we go ahead and take a look at the virtual status, we can then select the properties for this. The virtual status is going to be yes, and the output is going to be a delimited string by comma. Now if we update that and take a look at our products, so as you can see, it's only returning back those of the virtual status, and this would be exactly the same as those of the backorder status, downloadable status, virtual status, and catalog visibility. So it gives you complete freedom and control over which products you want to display and where. So if we put this back to the virtual status, and what we're going to do is we're going to apply a little label to the listing as well. So if we go ahead and update that, if we go to listing and then just place a simple heading widget in the top, and let's just fix the positioning for this. Some of the other styling options, so background type, let's make this glue blue, and the color white. And then for the label itself, if we go into content, and then what we're going to do is just change this label to virtual. And then what we're going to do to make this show or not show based on the status of the product is going to dynamic visibility. If we enable this, show element if condition met. So let's take our condition and select within a list. And the field that we're going to select here is post IDs, because we need to find out first and foremost the post ID, and then the value we're going to check is the status of the product. So we're going to check if these are virtual products, and again we need to select the virtual status to yes, and the output again is delimited by a string. Let's update that now, and if we take a look at our products list, this returns back the virtual label. So just to prove that this works, let's remove this query off of the listing. So it returns back to normal. If we refresh our list, you can see that this is showing the virtual products in here. So again, this works with the other statuses as well. So if you wanted to have certain products on certain pages or listed on certain single products, you've got complete freedom and control on what you want to show and where. So one of the final extensions that I want to show you is the cart values dynamic tag. If we head over to our header, what we're going to do is actually create our own custom alert. If you had an incentive for free shipping and the customer had to spend £100 for example, what we can do is actually alert the user of how much they've actually got in their cart versus how much they need to spend. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. What we're actually going to use is our dynamic composer widget. Now we've done a whole other video on this in detail, but let's go ahead and take a look. What we're going to do is create a variable to store the cart total value, and then we're going to deduct that from our £100 threshold in order to qualify for free delivery. So let's jump in and take a look at how this works very quickly. So we have our variable name, and the variable name is going to be called cart total, and the variable value is going to be our cart values dynamic tag. So if we take a look at this, we've got some options for the cart values. We've got items, cart total, coupons and price, so we can fetch any of this information that we need. So what we're going to do on this example is use cart total. The price symbol we're not actually going to show, we're going to include it in the string that we're going to write out because we need to create a calculation and that will interfere with this. And the output format, we're going to use delimiter and we're going to delimit by a comma. And in the type, we're going to change this to calculations. And now, as you can see, we've got before and after text. So let's go ahead and write our string, and then we're going to do the composer part, which is the calculation. So the before text is going to be, and as mentioned before, that we're going to put the dollar symbol in the actual string itself. And then in the composer field, we're actually going to do the math and the calculation. So we're going to deduct from our £100, our variable name, which is cart total. We update this. And if we take a look on the front end, and because we already have a product within our cart, which is a value of $50, to get free delivery you must spend another $50. So let's go ahead and add another item to the cart. As you can see, it's automatically updating this. And of course you can go further with this and use the dynamic visibility from Jet Engine. So once you've actually hit the threshold, this could change completely to a message to say you have now qualified for free delivery. Let's explore some of the other items that we can fetch. So we're going back to the header. If we just use a heading widget, so let's take a look at the cart values dynamic tag once again. And what we can do is output, as mentioned, items. So you can fetch plenty of information that you want to display. So for example, if we select title and if we select UL structure, what this is actually doing is outputting the items that are within our cart. Now with a little bit of imagination, you can actually go ahead and create your own cart. Now, how amazing is that? Before we finish up on this video, I just wanted to show you that we have some other extensions available. So we have the swatches widget, which requires the Woo Variation Swatches plugin. And what this allows us to do is display the swatches within our listing. So we forked off of this plugin to make this possible. We also have the Woo Variation Table, which again requires the Product Variation Table plugin, and it gives us a lot more flexibility on what we can do with that plugin and work within Elementor. And then finally we have the Token Dynamic Tags, and as you can see, we can tap into the store name, the store user link and the store vendor ID, which again makes it far more flexible and easier to work within Elementor. So that's it for another video guys. Thank you very much for watching and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye for now.